This is your degenerate power hour, your late night golden shower. Too ill to be sick, so thick you can't split. That carnival spin with the rictus grin. I'm Joel, he's BMO, and this is Vagrants and Vandals Radio.
Hi.
Hi, hi, hi.
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 Hi. We ain't done a hay off in a while.
Hi. It's good. You know what? That's like therapy. Just doing the haze makes you feel better.
Anytime I do it around people who are unfamiliar with it, I get a real weird look.
They're like, "You gay, man? You gay?"
Like I did it for my boss one time. She just looked at me like, "Huh?" I was like, "Hey." And I explained myself. Like, let me bring it back 30 or 40 years.
Alrighty. So the kids are back in school. How'd that go this week?
Pretty good. There were some concerns because of in Monroe. I don't know if they do this in other districts where they loop their teacher.
What do you mean they loop the teacher?
Like you can have the same teacher 3-4 years in a row.
What?
Yeah, like Bourbon had his one teacher for like 3 years, which is good because they're so used to that teacher. But then when they gotta leave,
Sure.
it's like when we were kids, it was like new teacher every goddamn
Always a
year.
give and take. That's how the hell does that work with the curriculum?
I don't know. I don't know how that works.
They doing something funky down here.
I guess it's no different than having like a split class with like a third, fourth, or fourth, fifth.
So basically, like 1 year you're a third grade teacher, then the next year a fourth grade techer, and then fifth, and then you go back to third after.
Yeah, I mean I think it changes every year. Like for example, one of my teacher friends, she's been a fourth grade teacher forever. Now she's like a first grade.
It seems like that would create staffing issues.
I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. I know people weren't happy about it, but what are you going to do?
Is that something relatively new that they started?
No, I mean, since the boys have been in school, it's been going on. So, I mean, it's great if you get a teacher you really like. But now, like I said, now they don't want to leave that teacher. Yeah. But thankfully, the new one that Gibby got, he loves her. He's really happy. So, I mean, they're smart kids, so the grades have never been an issue. It's just keeping their emotional stability in place.
Yeah. Link had a good first week. I was very happy with the results. I hope for more of the same this week. What are you looking for? Brandon's pawing around at a bookshelf.
I just need something to get this mic closer.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, I'll tell you what. While you go ahead and sort that issue out, let's hear from our sponsor, Big Bruce's Burger Spot.
Hey, Burger Bandits. It's time to satisfy your cravings at Big Bruce's Burger Spot. Sink your teeth into our signature, mouth-watering barbecue bacon burger for just $5.99. And for our veggie friends, try our new spicy black bean burger with a zesty Southwest sauce that slaps. Got a sweet tooth? Slurp down our handcrafted moose knuckle milkshake, just $3.99 for a limited time. Located at Telegraph and Stony Creek in Monroe, Big Bruce's Burger Spot. Put my meat in your mouth.
And there we go. All right, so now you're trying to live that healthy life. Have you been back to Big Bruce's?
Just on official business, signing papers and whatnot. Getting pretty close with the guy. No, he's always trying to feed me. I tell him, like, bro, you got to get like a salad on your menu. Like, and don't deep fry it. And then I can come eat.
Percy boy don't do no salads.
But he don't seem to be big on the greens. So
I tell you, I stopped in. I chugged a moose knuckle milkshake.
Got you a moose knuckle milkshake, huh?
It was pretty tasty. A little gamey at times, but
little gamey.
I said, not bad, Bruce. So yeah, if you're hankering for something new, get on down to Big Bruce's Burger Spot, corner of Telegraph and Stony Creek in Monroe, as you heard the ad say.
Remember, it's tucked away.
Now, Bruce is getting a new sign up to make it a little more visible from the road, but
still going to be tough to spot and still until that's in place. But
yeah. Well, what can you do? All right, so let's get to some updates. We got a few updates. Last podcast, you were talking up your new clean lifestyle. You're cutting back on the drinking.
Clean living.
You're going to lose some weight. You're going to be done smoking cigarettes on the day of our last podcast. But you're still smoking. I
am still partaking a little bit just to keep the edge off. I tried going cold turkey. About 3 hours in, April had about enough. She's like, you need to just cut back 100%, not 100%, but enough to where, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can still quit, but don't do it so dramatically. So I've been doing a half a cigarette every 2 hours.
So you were just like irritable?
Irritable, and I was just getting real jittery. She could see we were walking through the store, and I was just like, people are just getting on my fucking nerves. And I'm bad enough as it is in the store.
Yeah, I hate the store. Hate it.
And you put me on edge in there, I'm just like, dude, this sucks.
I cannot stand grocery shopping. I hate it. It's just people are so inconsiderate and slow. And I don't care what anyone says. Elderly people, move your fucking ass. Because they got nowhere to be, nothing to do. They're there with their social security check, not a fucking concern in the world.
Always just looking for help, too. They always look confused. Like, they don't know what they're supposed to be doing there. Like, get your food and get the fuck out.
Stand in there. And sometimes it's like you literally can't pass because maybe it's the way some of the displays are laid out, or they got a pallet jack or something, and it's just like, are you oblivious that there's other human? How much time do you need to consider the milk you're gonna buy, Grandma?
Like, Sonny, could you get that down from the shelf for me? I'm old. I just pretend like I don't hear him. I'm like, what?
Speaking of awkward public encounters, on my way down here, we stop at a corner store, get some Gatorade, and I get in line, and there's 2 ladies in front of me. Well, there's an old guy, at the register,
buying his lotto scratchers.
Yeah, I think so. And then there's two ladies. So it's like, older lady, probably in her early 60s. She's talking to this younger woman. I'm guessing the lady was in her 20s or 30s. There's bullshitting. And she's like, "You look like Mary J. Blige. You look like..." She just keeps saying that. Then she turns to me, and she just goes, "You have a pen?" And I was in no mood, so I just like shook my head. No. She goes right back to her conversation. Well, pen lady seemed to be the next one in line, but then the other lady steps up to the register. Pen lady doesn't move, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Are you in line, bitch?
So then she kind of moves to the other side of me, and I got the Gatorades like this. I'm just kind of holding them like this. She goes, "You look like you're cradling a baby." Now, the part of me that's like all of us that's trained for sociability is like, just throw out a little comment. Be like, "Well, I often cradle my son." But I'm just like, I'm not in the fucking mood. So I was just like,
Shall be.
And she's like trying to make eye contact. Like she's got more to say. And I'm like, and I'm just pointedly not looking at her. I'm like, I'm not interested. I step up to the register. She turns to the next guy in line, some middle-aged dude wearing a Lions hat. She goes, "Do you have a pen?" I'm like, what?
That's her opener. That's her cold opener. You got a pen.
Like, what? I want to know what was going on in your life today where you thought, I'm in need of a pen. I'm going to go stand up at the liquor store, and I'm going to ask everyone in line if they have a pen. Like, what the hell? What was going on there?
I'm going to start just acting deaf. Okay, I see him talking to me, just point to my ear and be like...
Or just even better.
And you can't talk, obviously, either, so...
Well, you could do the old,
you just stare forward.
Be like, "Okay, here you."
What are you, Chinese now?
I was like looking at you, waiting for you to do a deaf impression. I'm like, what is he, like shying away from this?
I don't know if I can do a deaf impression.
I'll do it. Oh boy, wow, now that one was kind of effective. There was no words in there. Like they can form words. That's
my Helen Keller, all right?
Oh yeah. So anyways, that was
this is off topic, but have you seen that movie on Netflix, The Deliverance?
No, you were telling me about it last time.
Oh my god, dude, that one line. I knew it was gonna blow up online. I knew it. As soon as I heard it, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be everywhere." And it's Glenn Close is like this like demon, and she's like, she's like, "I can smell your nappy pussy." It's so funny, dude. The racial remarks in that movie are fucking so over the top and hilarious.
So this that particular line. So she's like a demon character?
Yeah, well, she's a possessed. Well, she's not even that character. Like, the little boy's the one who's possessed. but he's like shapeshift. It's fucking creepy, dude. He looks scary as fuck in the movie.
So that's my question about a line like that. Like, did it come off funny? Or was it scary because of the depth of the voice?
I think it was supposed to be scary, but I laughed.
Yeah, see that
you can't say nappy pussy and not expect someone to laugh. I don't care what context is in, what's going on in the scene. Now it was a very creepy scene because it's like thunder and lightning, and she's got these sharp ass like demon teeth. She's completely bald because she had like radiation, big old fucking hook nose. But just the. She like shifts her eyes. It's just so funny.
To me, that's a line in the writer's room. Someone had to have raised the point. Like, do you think that's a laugh line? Should we change the wording a bit?
Like, no, it's got to be nappy pussy.
I am set on it.
That was my only condition that we said that in the movie. There's a lot of lines like, because it's predominantly a black cast, except for Glenn Close is the one white woman in the movie, and It was pretty good. It's a little slow, but I did like that it was based on a true story. And not only at the end of the movie do they show you the actual woman it was based around and her family, shows you the house. They said the house has since been demolished, but they said to this day there's still like strange occurrences on the property.
Where's it at?
I'd have to go back and look. I think it was in New York though.
See, now this is a good opportunity for me to plug my blog Horror Lust.
Straight up.
I think our regular listeners probably know I've written about haunted houses and Halloween for years, but if you're interested, I actually had a recent hosting issue. I moved back to my previous site, which is horrorlust.wordpress.com. I still have the domain for horrorlust.com, but
you have to pay for that?
Yeah, the domain, yeah. Now, the WordPress one was always free.
Right.
But, limited features and whatever. But I started using it again recently because I lost the hosting on the other one, and I actually lost some of my material, which I was quite upset about. Shout out to Zyoptis, though. Zyoptis.com, a great Halloween resource, was actually the blog years ago that inspired me to start Horror Lust. I was on their site. I was working on a post this week just about a compilation of haunts that are open in Michigan this season because the Fear Finder doesn't exist anymore. They stopped running.
Really?
They stopped printing last year.
What a shame.
Yeah. So
didn't you have like every one from like the last 20 years or something like that?
Quite a few. Not quite every year, but yeah, I have quite a few.
Those were cool. I always look forward to those.
A lot of people did. Now, so COVID hurt, and then they were just doing print only.
Right.
And then I think the last 2 years, Ed, who runs Erebus and who owns the Fear Finder, was just allowing people to, long-time advertisers to be in there for free.
Nice.
But they were just putting together like a digital PDF.
Right.
Last year they stopped doing it. Hopefully at some point there's enough demand it comes back, because when I was going to compile my list, I was like, man, this is a kind of a pain in the ass without the Fear Finder.
Right.
Now, not everything appeared in the Fear Finder, but like your most popular ones would be. It was a good resource.
It was just fun to look through.
Yeah, it was. It was awesome. I mean, I remember being a kid, being in Taco Bell, and that's what first got me interested. And me and Jason were fascinated. So, anyways, I was putting that together. Where the hell was I going with this?
You were talking about Horror Lust, and you lost some of your shit, and then
there was a story. I totally just blanked.
I can smell your nappy pussy.
Oh, that
brings them back on track.
It did. At least I think it did. Anyways, one thing I've always wanted to do with Horror Lust, like if I had my way, I would love to cover more things in the realm of not just haunted houses.
Right.
I would love to travel,
like actual scary shit.
Cover folklore, urban legends,
that would be
paranormal
fun.
Places. That would be awesome.
My only fear with that is like, man, bringing something home with you.
Sure.
I'm not saying 100% believe in ghosts and shit, but like, I mean, I don't need I don't need to stick my hand in a fire to know it's gonna burn me.
Right.
So I might as well just stay away and not have to deal with that shit.
I'm of a similar mind where it's like I do not consider myself a religious person, and I consider myself a skeptic, but a skeptic who is open to new information. Like, I think there's something to this phenomenon, whether it's people who have died and then their conscious presence haunts a place. Okay, I don't know that, but is there something to it when someone hears a disembodied voice? Or I mean, I've had a couple experiences through my life where it was like, wow, that was fucking weird, and I don't know how to explain.
What do you think about the Tesla thing?
What Tesla thing?
You haven't seen the videos of those? people driving through cemeteries, and their fucking onboard sensor is picking up people all over the place.
Really?
There's nobody around them.
So that's not just like some urban legend?
No, the guy's like, he's like filming his screen and then comes up and he's looking around and he's like, there's nobody around. And then one appears right in front of his car. And he's like, nope. Gotta go.
See engineers at Tesla trolling people.
And it probably could
Maybe a
be
little
something
Easter
like
egg.
that. But then I seen another one of
That is interesting.
a Chinese developer. He had made a program. It was like a face thing. It focused on your face, and it showed your emotion. It guesstimated your age, and male or female. He's sitting there demonstrating on camera, and all of a sudden the door opens up, and the little square goes on. There's no face there, though.
Yeah,
nothing.
I think I've seen a video
And it says,
like that.
woman, angry, 565 years old.
Yeah, and see, like, to me, it's like...
And his expression is shock.
I've seen that video, and I'm just kind of like, I need more sourcing on that.
Right, but it is creepy, though. Like, if you took
Sure.
that, if that actually happened,
little
that's scary.
story.
Anytime videos like doors opening and shit, it's like, man, I want to believe that's real. It's probably not. That's why I follow this guy called it's Mitch something. I have to look it up, but he debunks a lot of like AI videos.
Yeah.
His whole line is "Don't be a sucker." Like, he'll point out things like sometimes I'm like, that looks legit.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you slow it down, he's like, if you look right here, he's like, you can see the fishing line. And I'm like, you motherfucker, take the fun out of everything.
That's the thing, like, especially like 24-hour news cycle, social media, and now you add AI to the mix.
Trouble.
It is trouble because the American public is lazy and not well educated.
Hey, Skynet went self-aware. August 29th, 2024.
Work of fiction.
That's when Skynet became
Again,
aware.
You always say these things, then you don't say, I'm referencing a work of fiction.
Well, if you don't know Terminator 2 Judgment Day, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, people need to...
But it is scary that they made, in that fictional universe, that's when AI became sentient. There was no AI even back then to even really conceive of. Now, what are the odds that they'd get that right?
Well, there were even going back in science fiction, shit, to the 1950s.
Back to the Future, predicting the Cubs to win the 2015.
Oh, was that in Back to the
Yeah.
Future? Coincidence.
It is coincidence.
But the
What's
concept that the robots, the machines may one day take over has been something in our imagination
Right.
for decades. That's not...
I take it you don't believe in the Simpsons predicting the future thing, or that time
No.
Matt Groening is a time traveler, and he's...
No, I don't.
It's a lot of convincing evidence.
No, okay. No, I don't believe any of that.
I tell you what, you smoke enough weed, anything becomes very plausible.
You know that I know somebody who worked directly with Matt Groening,
Really?
and same name as your father.
It's weird that you say it because that guy, Bill Morrison, was going to be at the comic shop.
Oh yeah.
I called my dad. I'm like, you in a secret life, another secret life you ain't told me about. Like, well, what
How many you got?
Like, why are you going to be at the comic shop? He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I sent him a picture. I'm like, look it. So I had to look the guy up. I'm like, son of a bitch. Same name.
Interesting story on him. Childhood friend of my old supervisor, Steve. This is how I know him.
Oh, okay.
He worked on The Simpsons, Futurama. Interesting dude.
He's like, you want to know what's going to happen in the future? Because I know. He's like, don't get on the train.
All right, let's get to some things here. Let's get to our stories. We got a couple of news stories today. The first thing I want to talk about, I had mentioned this to BMO. This came up in my Snapchat feed. A video of a Suriname toad. Apparently, they're also referred to as Pippa Pippa.
And creepy as fuck.
Yeah, they look very different from most frogs or toads, and they have this.
It was kind of flat, right?
Yeah, it's almost like a leaf.
It reminds me of like an African clawed frog. It's the very same, but flat.
Well, these ladies, I was going to say fellas, but they have this unique property where they give birth through their back.
It's pretty gross.
And I'm not prideful enough to keep to myself. Not ashamed to admit that I watched a video of a mating session, and they like do 360s in there. I was like, wow, that's pretty athletic.
Oh, you watch them banging, huh?
Yeah. And like the male,
Do they come in each hole or?
no, I don't. It didn't get that detailed, but the male like will lie on the female for up to like 12 hours to make sure like the eggs stick.
Damn.
And then you've got all these like white pustules on her on her back. Now this came up because it was like an article or a video, like things that'll trigger your tryptophobia. Okay, which is, hold on, I got the definition of it for those of you who don't know. Tryptophobia is a fear or aversion to clusters of holes or cracks and can cause feelings of disgust or revulsion. Some common triggers include holes in concrete, air holes in bread, frosting patterns on cakes or pies, the head of a lotus flower, holes in hockey masks, skin problems with sores, scars, and spots, spotted animals, shower heads, LEDs and traffic lights, and honeycombs. Now, some of these I'd never thought of before. For me, now, this isn't...
There's pattern holes in everything, I mean.
I don't have a fear of this, but I do see things like this, and I'll just kind of be like, ooh, disgusting.
Yeah, it's gross.
But then I'll like want to run my hand across and be like, oh yeah, disgusting.
That's like popping zits. Like that grosses me out, dude. Some people love that shit. They all about
and
it.
I do like popping zits, yeah.
It is. You do get a sense of like when you get a real good one, you get all that shit out. You're like, oh yeah, that was nice. But it's still fucking gross.
Yeah, so that's the fear. So people who have this would probably watch a Suriname toad birth and be grossed out.
Throw up.
Now I watched that video and I'm like, oh god, that's gross, because you see the babies just like emerging from
wiggling
the
out
and the skin's throbbing.
Well, you know what I think is because we look at that and we think if that was on us, we would be freaking the fuck out.
Could you imagine?
Like you just have things crawling out of your skin. Like nah, dude.
Get your girl pregnant. You go to the hospital. Like, all right, get on your belly.
Get on your belly. Start pushing.
The baby's popping out the back. Like,
it was just one giant crater in your back, and this baby's just growing slowly.
You know, that's another thing we talked about, the simulation.
Mm.
Another thing, like humans in so many ways are apart from nature. Like we don't. Sure, every once in a while someone has twins or triplets, but for the most part, a single birth.
Right.
That's how it works with most animals. Like they're popping out. In that case, look at that video of that Suriname toad. There's like dozens of those little bastards.
Well, chimpanzees and gorillas, I believe they have single births.
I guess, yeah, I could argue primates.
I do believe that like dolphins have single births.
Okay.
Dude, I watched this video of a dolphin embryo and a human embryo side by side, maturing. And for the first like 3 months, there is literally no difference.
Yeah.
It looks exactly the same until you hit that stage where the flippers start growing for them and hands for us, and then they get to the long nose, the dorsal snout, or what the fuck that thing's called.
Yeah.
And we, I'm like, holy shit, dude. But for a while, you can't tell. So we're all genetically closer than we think.
Oh, yeah. Hey,
it is weird that we don't seem like we're built to survive in this world. Like you put a human baby in the woods, it's dead.
Yeah, they dead.
It's dead immediately.
Dead. Yeah.
You put a baby deer fresh out its mom, it might get eaten, but it can survive on its own. It knows it has to eat and whatnot.
Yeah.
It can walk. I didn't know that pound for pound human babies are stronger than a lot of other animals.
Really?
Which is crazy. For as little as they weigh, their strength outweighs what they...
Let's watch this video. It's a real quick video. I don't know if you guys will... Whoops, shit. Nope. Not what I wanted there.
It's just like,
No, just went to a different video. There we go. Stupid ads playing. So yeah, if you want to test yourself, see if maybe you have an aversion, this tryptophobia.
They covered this on American Horror Story.
Yeah, they did. Season 7 or whatever.
Yeah, Sarah Paulson.
So here, you guys won't hear it, but I'm showing it to BMO. Look at that. Just like this gray, spongy surface. There's a leg sticking out.
They're just shooting out of this thing.
Oh, look at that. It looks like blackheads.
It's like later, mama, I got to go.
It looks like, a magnified face with a bunch of blackheads.
That's a whole new meaning of living with your parents.
Oh.
You literally live inside their body. It's fucking gross,
look at that.
I wonder what that feels like.
Can't feel good, dude. It's got to feel... I imagine it feels like pressure, like when you guys got a big pimple on your back.
Yeah, it's just now it's like...
Oh, look at that one squirted out.
And I wonder how often they give birth like that. It's like a one-time deal. They do it, and that's it. And over
I watched
and over.
another video that said they can do it over and over. They shed that layer afterward.
Ew. So that's not even really like their skin. That's like
no, it's skin.
It's like but it's like essentially like a womb for their. If they shed it off until they're ready to reproduce again, then obviously there's something underneath that.
And you and I were talking beforehand, like just nature being nature, some of those aren't viable and they like die
Right.
in her
Yeah.
back.
Just rots.
Like, and you have to imagine, like, I would have to guess there's times that it becomes infected. You got like just a dead fetal
Right.
toad on your back.
Or what if they get big enough they just don't want to leave? They're like, I'm just gonna chill. Actually, I'm not going anywhere.
Like a kid that just don't want to move out. Yeah, I'm warm. I'm fed. It's like, yeah, because you're still connected to my system.
What more do I need?
Get off of me. I always found frogs and toads pretty fascinating creatures.
I had African clawed frogs. Those were cool. But dude, they fucking kept getting out of their tank. It was so funny. We had a tile floor, and they're aquatic fucking frogs. So they'd get out, they'd somehow splash up out of there, hit the floor, and then suction cup to it, and they couldn't move.
When we were young, I don't know what kind of frogs they were, but Jason they're real small. And occasionally they'd get out the back of the tank.
It was like fire belly toads.
I don't remember. Every once in a while we'd find a skeleton.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
They got out and they said, "Oh fuck."
Yeah, that was not smart. Well, it's like when you own like bearded crickets are always getting out. It's so annoying, dude. A random cricket in your house, you can't find them. It's just
Who the hell's got crickets as pets?
people who feed them to their pet bearded dragons.
Well, how the hell are they even surviving that long? Bearded dragon, you don't chomp them right up?
Oh, dude, they're good at hiding, bro. You have a decent sized tank and you put like 50 of them in there. Yeah, sure, 40
Oh,
or
shit,
45 of them going to be getting eaten. But there's 5 that will find places to hide. And, dude, then you just hear them. It's so fucking annoying.
Yeah, I'd have that bearded dragon on a diet. You're only getting 5 at a time.
I do miss having a bearded dragon. They were fun.
Yeah, Jason used to have iguanas, but man, I was always like, they're not domesticated like cats or dogs. They're not as smart. Anytime Jason had his iguanas out, I was like, that thing's gonna take a finger off. It
was a gnarly looking thing.
I never trusted them to hold them like a pet.
I know when I knew your brother was a little off. I mean, there was always signs, but this is one of the major ones for me. Is when he had named his iguana after a chick that he had it named after.
Maybe we shouldn't.
I'm not going to say the name.
Maybe we shouldn't touch on this subject.
But you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm like,
yeah,
that. I remember thinking to myself, that is fucking weird. That's weird. So, and it was not like it could be easy, like, oh, that was a coincidence.
Oh no, it was.
It was definitely directly towards that person.
100%.
Yeah, I'm glad you know that. That's
Well,
fucking
yeah,
weird.
I remember when it happened.
Did you bring it up to him? Like, what is wrong with you?
I don't remember if I directly addressed it. I remember when he was picking out a name, I was suggesting. I think
you can't go anywhere near the actual.
No, it was a name. I was suggesting that was around the same time a Final Fantasy VII game came out.
Mm-hmm.
A Dirge of Cerberus. I think I was trying to convince him to name it Dirge. I thought that was a cool name.
That's a cool name.
And well, he did not.
He's like, no, I've got this thing for this chick. I'm just gonna go with that name. All right.
He's listening to this and he's like, those
The motherfuckers always make fun of my memory, but then I can pull some shit like that out of my ass. Like, all right, I remember that.
That's how you knew there was
I'll save his personal expiration with a plastic baggie for another fucking time.
personal expiration.
Exploration.
Oh, well,
What is that something you've done too?
with a plastic bag.
Yeah, when no one wants to go and raw and.
Wait, what? I'll tell you what. We're gonna ask. Before we go any further with the story, we're gonna consult with Jason. And see if he
Jason's that
wants
one
to tell
meme of
this
Jordan
story.
Peele with the sweat running down his face.
Sitting at work listening with some coworkers. He's like,
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
all right,
I always listen by myself. So
let's get to our next story. So scientists, we're gonna stick with the animal front. This one not as repulsive in my opinion. Scientists have done something interesting, and it's one of those things where I'm like, what prompted them to go, hey,
let's try this.
listen to this headline. This is from USA Today. Dye in Doritos used in experiment that, like a magic trick, created see-through mice. This is real.
Sounds
folks.
cool.
Doritos are a revered snack for many. Now scientists have found one of the ingredients in the triangle-shaped tasty tortilla chips has a superpower. It can make the skin of mice transparent. Researchers at Stanford University detail in the September 6th issue of the journal Science how they were able to see through the skin of live mice by applying a mixture of water and tartrazine, a bright yellow-orange food coloring used in Doritos and other foods, drugs, and cosmetics.
This doesn't seem like great publicity for Doritos.
It doesn't.
Like, makes me not want to eat Doritos now.
The experiments arose from the quest for better methods to see tissue and organs within the body. Okay. Still, I want to know how they made the leap. The researchers chose tartrazine because the dye's molecules absorb blue and ultraviolet light, which makes it easier for light to pass through the mouse skin. For those who understand the fundamental physics behind this, it makes sense. But if you aren't familiar with it, it looks like a magic trick, said Ziho Oh, the lead author of this study, who is now an assistant professor of physics at the University of Texas at Dallas, in a description of the research on the university's website. After testing the dye on mice, tissue samples, and raw chicken breast, the researchers rubbed the dye in water solution onto the skulls and abdomens of the mice. As the dye was absorbed, within a few minutes they could see the skin, muscle, and connective tissues transparent in live rodents, the researchers write in the journal article. Once researchers wash off the dye, the mice lost their translucency, and the dye is excreted through urine, according to the university site's description of the study. It's important that the dye is biocompatible. It's safe for living organisms, Wu said.
We've been eating it for fucking years, so...
In addition, it's very inexpensive and efficient. We don't need very much of it to work. Before you start slathering yourself in Doritos, the coloring is used in several Doritos flavors, including nacho cheese, Cool Ranch, and Flaming Hot Nacho. Tartrazine won't necessarily give humans a cloak of invisibility a la Harry Potter. That's because human skin is about 10 times thicker than a mouse, and it's not sure how much of the dye or how it could be administered.
We'll get testing then.
Is needed to work in humans, Wu said. Researchers plan to continue investigating that and experiment with other substances that could outperform tartrazine. Optical equipment like the microscope is not directly used to study live humans or animals because light can't go through living tissue, Wu said. But now that we can make tissue transparent, it will allow us to look at more detailed dynamics. It will completely revolutionize existing optical research in biology. In an accompanying editorial article in the journal Biophotonics researcher Christopher Rowlands and experimental optical physicist John Gurecki, both at the Imperial College London, compare the finding to H.G. Wells's 1897 novel, The Invisible Man. Combined with other techniques, the tartrazine development could result in, quote, permitting deeper imaging than either could alone, end quote, they wrote.
Well, making you see through and making you invisible are two totally different fucking things. Like,
yes. Now, again, the source, USA Today, kind of written at like a 6th grade level, maybe even, it's for the masses,
right?
Meaning any dummy should be able to absorb this article. I mean, I'm sure that they probably got 500-pound gamers lining up.
Yeah,
like I got bags of Doritos.
I'm a Cool Ranch flavor guy, man. That's my go-to.
Cool Ranch is good. I like that sweet chili.
Yeah, it's good.
That's some good stuff right there.
Have you ever had it's not Doritos, it's Lay's or Ruffles. It's called All Dressed. It's a Canadian flavor. It's like oil and vinegar, salt and pepper, and some other seasoning. Oh, it's fucking smacking. It's so good.
Once, years ago, I was when I was a substitute teacher, I was at the Lincoln Park Middle School.
Mm-hmm.
I'll fully admit to it now. And there was a teacher who I was subbing for, and she had Pringles cans. Must have been a big fan at her desk, clearly for snacking. And what's funny is years later, we would actually have her on the Mud Puppet Show because she was involved with Relay for Life, which Ryan's wife was involved with. And I was just like, love me some Pringles.
I like me some Pringles.
And it was honey mustard. I'd never tried that flavor at the time.
Good. Yeah, those are tasty.
And I was like, I'm going to have to eat a few of those.
A few is going to eat the whole can. It goes without saying.
I sat there munching this teacher's Pringles.
You're like, hey, that's Mrs. So-and-so's Pringles. Shut the fuck up, kid.
Who subbed for me last Thursday?
Those aren't even potato chips?
No?
Nope. Pringles do not have enough potatoes in them to be classified as a potato chip.
So what the hell are they?
They essentially are molded. So when you buy like powdered mashed potatoes?
Yeah.
That's what they are. They're molded and baked like that. So if you take you can take a thing of Pringles, boil them, and eat them like mashed potatoes.
Interesting.
I've seen people, not person obviously, but I've seen videos of people doing it. Don't look bad.
I want to talk about. I talked about a weird dream I had not too long ago. I had. This is just a few days back, not even a week ago. One of the most terrifying dreams I've had. Now, we've talked before. I often remember my dreams. I dream very vividly. This dream, I'm going to pick up where the action starts.
Yeah, right.
I'm at what feels like a town hall or a church or something like that with Lincoln. And out of nowhere, all hell breaks loose. Some kind of looks like she's Spanish, maybe. Her mom was speaking Spanish, or like part Spanish anyway. Spanglish, I guess you would say.
Spanglish.
This girl opens this small, almost like a crawl space door at the bottom, like of a staircase. And then immediately, like, her mom is like horrified. You know the movie La Llorona?
I'm familiar. I've never seen it, but I do know the movie.
The mom yells out something. It wasn't La Llorona, but it was something similar.
Which I think means the witch.
It was clearly Spanish. But for our purposes, let's just go with La Llorona. So the mom is scolding this daughter, and all I hear is, La Llorona! and like, just this, like...
You know, like, foreign languages scare me.
This primal, like, ancient fear comes over me, where I'm like, we got to get the fuck out of here now. And then I start hearing these wails, like almost like the wraiths in Lord of the Rings. And these like spirits begin to appear, and they're kind of like flashing in and out of visibility. And one of them looks like almost like a block of clay with like these crude features carved into it. And I remember seeing multiple mouths, and they were just kind of like jittering, like, and they're flashing in and out. And then like everyone loses their shit. People are screaming, running over each other. People are being trampled. And I remember, I was like, this is horrifying. I was like, we got to go. So next thing I remember, a bunch of us, me, my dad, Ryan, were at my Aunt Brenda's old house. And we're like holed up inside, doors are locked, shades are pulled. Because these things are, the best way I could describe them is they were almost like some sort of like succubus character. They were these like sexual demons, and they were here to prey on men.
Sexual demons.
And they like emitted these pheromones, like in the form of this sort of like slimy mist. And if it hit you, you were basically marked. So people were like desperately scrubbing themselves off.
God.
And if you, and they had almost like this siren song, and that was the thing. Like you could be in their presence, but you had to pretend you didn't see them. Like you just had to keep moving. But people, of course, would look because they're scared, and then they're like transfixed. And men in the dream were like turning this like pale grayish blue, and that meant like they'd been ensnared, and they had like the shit on them. And I remember there was this one dude, and when it happened, they would just like chant like this. They were like serene. They were happy, and like they were just in a trance, and they'd start like just like muttering like happy nonsense. And I remember telling, I was like, dude, I'm like, you got to keep going. You can't look. You can't look at them. You got to go.
Getting their soul sucked out through their dick.
So then we're holed up in the house. So there was like the terrifying part was the succubus, for lack of a better term. They didn't have to do the dirty work themselves because they just sprayed their shit, marked the men. And then it also infected other women. But what happened with the women, they became like these like almost like sex-crazed zombies. And we were looking out like the windows, and we could see like these women in cars like devouring corpses, like ravenously, just like... And it was like, what? We're dead. We are all dead. How do we... And that was like the feeling in the dream was like humanity has never been confronted with. This is some ancient creature. This is it. This is our extinction event. And I woke up, and I sat straight up, put my hands on my thighs, and I just sat there, and I was like, what the fuck?
Like, I'm on drugs.
It was horrifying. I immediately took notes down in my phone. I'll read them. Sometimes I'll do that. If I have a dream I think is interesting, I'm like, ooh, that could make for a good story. So yeah, I grabbed my phone, and I just very quickly typed something out. read this. Oh, yeah, here we go. I titled it Spanish Sex Spirit. Ravenous feminine spirit unleashed on the world. Ancient. Can infect women with same energy. Eventually they turn to cannibalism in their zest for carnal delight. Men are sex slaves. Prey. When entranced, men's eyes gloss over, skin develops a sheen and turns blue-gray. Spirits emit a scream like a wraith, move swiftly, fly. Infected women have enhanced physical abilities, like they're just fast and strong. We must all stay very quiet, and if in their presence must continue to move, avoid eye contact. Spirits emit some kind of slimy pheromone to lure men. Horrifying.
Sounds pretty fucked up.
Premise. What about you? You have any good dreams lately?
I had a dream, 2 work-related dreams. One,
banging teachers again?
No. I was back at the high school, and I was doing something in the auditorium for whatever reason. And...
pleasuring yourself in a bowl of mashed potatoes?
No. It was something with water. I don't know what I was doing, but anyways, I get sidetracked. I go do something else. I come back. I turn the corner. I walk back. The fucking entire auditorium is flooded. I mean, 4 or 5 feet of water. And I'm like, what happened? This guy's like, I don't fucking know. Somebody left the water running. And then I woke up like, oh, shit, I'm in trouble. You feel you're at work.
Yeah.
And the other night, I woke up and I told April, I'm like, this motherfucker. We have a main guy who doesn't work for our company, works for the public schools, but he's not our boss. But he pretty much has that ability to do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
And I was doing something like real lackadaisically. He's a big motherfucker anyways in real life, and comes walking up behind me. He's like, I've been watching you, and you going too slow. And that was it. And it woke me up, scared the shit out of me.
Oh, this is a dream.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, fuck, this guy's invading my goddamn sleep now.
Oh, you got to address that with that guy. You got to put him in. You got to set him straight. Like, listen, I don't like you in my head. I don't want to see you in my dreams again.
He's a really big dude. He's probably like 6'4", and just built like a fucking brick shit house.
But if you come up to him, if you approach it like that, where you say, listen, you got to make direct eye contact. Because big motherfuckers ain't used to that. Like, you got to come at them direct because they go through most of their life, everyone's intimidated.
Well, he's not a bully. I mean, he's just...
Still, though, if
he's
you're
just
that
a
big,
boss.
people
But yeah,
assume.
yeah.
So here he is. He's big. He's in a position of authority. You got to go right up to him, stare him right in the eye, and like, listen to me.
You listen to me, motherfucker.
You invade my cranial space in my dream one more time, we're going to have a real issue. You understand? And then you just walk off. He will never fuck with
He's like
you.
drug test. Understand that? Let's go. He's got one of those real big square beards, too.
Oh, he manicures it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude.
Shaping it like a bonsai tree.
He's got a similar haircut to what I have, but then it just comes down to this giant square beard. I'm just like, this fucking guy. He's a really nice guy. And he's never been anything but nice to me. But
it's funny. People always tell stories about big people like that, like big, imposing. And they're always going to say, nice guy. Because in our heads, you're like, oh, some of that, they sound scary.
Yeah, I mean,
So
well, he looks
you gotta say
scary.
it.
And I'm sure he would be intimidating if he was mad yelling at you.
Sure.
But
Sure.
thankfully, I do my job.
So I want to touch on, we've mentioned a few episodes back, your mystery neighbor. Do we ever get a name for him?
His name is Steve.
Steve?
Yeah.
Sounds like a made up name, Steve. He's been listening?
Yeah. Steve, as far as I know, he's been
All right.
listening.
Hello, neighbor Steve.
Last time I talked to him, he was in the middle of the episode where we were talking about him.
So,
and I told him like, hey, we mentioned you.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I don't make. He told me he hadn't listened to it yet.
Mm-hmm.
He was just getting into it. But his answers to my questions made me think he had listened to it.
Right.
I don't make no apologies for what
guy.
I've done. And I'm like, yeah, this guy's definitely listening. He wanted to come on, though. And he brought that up, too. He's like, well, I want to come on. I'm like, it's funny you say that because I mentioned that. But I haven't seen him since then, so.
It's probably another one of his secret missions.
Could be.
So.
And I think that's going to be a call-in.
You don't want him in the apartment. No offense, quote unquote, Steve. You ain't breaching the door.
He was like, yeah, we're going to just do a call-in for that one. Remember we were joking about wearing the Wolverine claws, one of us each?
That's right. Well, you know, it's like the current way that we've got it set up here. And honey, it's hard to accommodate, even when we have Dent in here.
And he's a big dude, too.
Like, not Dent, but your neighbor.
No, yeah, my neighbor Steve.
Like, look at we're working on a 4-foot table.
Yeah.
We've got the the effect board to my right, microphones and us in the middle, the laptop to my left. You know, we got a water bottle, a phone, some notes. There's not a lot of space
No
to
beer.
squeeze in.
No beer on this table
beer
today.
time.
Clean living.
It's a sober
Clean
podcast.
living.
So there really isn't a whole lot of space
for about a half hour.
until we start that NHL.
Hi.
Which we'll get to that before we're out of here.
Oh, I did want to touch on it because I was telling you, he had given me those drones.
Yes, that's why I brought this whole thing up.
I thought it was busted. I thought it was missing a camera. So I'm showing my dad. He was over the other day, and I'm like, hey, check this out. And I'm like, but it don't work. It's missing the camera. I was like, well, why throw it away? And I'm like, you're probably right. And I turn it over, and there's the camera. It's smaller than I thought it would be.
Okay.
But it looks fucking nice. I'm like, all right, so all I'm missing is the blades, the turbine blades.
Have you powered this thing up?
No, because I have no blades for it.
Okay, but to even check if it works, though.
No, maybe I'll bring it in and we can take a look at it before you go.
What, you just want me to, like, take a
Yes.
look? Okay.
And then I bring people back when we were having our little spat. And like I said, I can wait you out.
What are you talking about?
Talk about doing the podcast here. Like, oh, if we can't, we're not doing it anywhere, we're not doing it. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'll wait you out.
That wasn't exactly.
I'll wait, but it was a lot of it.
It wasn't as simple as that.
I waited. And I
It
waited.
wasn't as simple as that. It wasn't as simple.
I always get what I want, motherfucker. I can smell your nappy pussy.
I just washed yesterday.
The look on a woman's face as she says it, she's like,
It's like,
how dare you, bitch?
can you really?
They say a lot of nasty things, like a lot of racial shit.
What'd you watch this on?
It's on Netflix original.
Oh, it's on Netflix.
Yeah. It's
See,
good.
I gotta get back to like settle in with horror movies nightly. Like before we had August, we were always watching horror movies, true crime shit, and it's like now, like by the time we get the kid to bed,
I make my kid watch that
we're both
shit.
exhausted. Well, August is 2.5, so
I had Bourbon watching Halloween pretty early. Turned out just fine. There's a funny story. He was like probably, I don't know, 5-6 months old, sleeping. I had him like propped up in like the lazy boy. He's like that sleeping. I'm watching the movie The Last Castle. It's just like a prison movie.
yeah.
And there's a scene where they do a shakedown, and it's just this loud buzzer, dude, like like a prison buzzer, like. Yeah. And dude, this is Bourbon. He's like this. Falls comes awake for a second, eyes wide, and then literally falls right back asleep. I was fucking laughing my ass off.
Well, see, here's the thing. It's like even if you don't object to your kids seeing that kind of content, and when Lincoln was real little. I'd like, I'm talking like a newborn, and I'd have him for like his nightly, like whatever, 2 a.m. feeding. I'd be watching The Walking Dead on my computer screen.
Remember that shit.
But once he started getting a little older, where I knew he was absorbing like that, I wasn't comfortable with.
Man, that shit made me the man I am today watching that shit.
And what a man he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Titties and ass, gratuitous violence.
Yeah, but not at like 3-4 years old. Okay, so even if you don't object to them seeing gratuitous sex or violence,
No, I don't want them seeing sex.
or profanity,
No nudity.
okay, I'll get all right.
I know it's a little weird.
Put a pin in that for a second. You can't enjoy anything with a kid that young. They're going to constantly interrupt.
No, yeah.
They're going to shit themselves. They're going to piss themselves. They're going to whine for a bottle. They're going to want to play. They're going to be smacking you in the face. So yeah, I'm not watching anything that I want to actually enjoy. Even the boys are pretty good. Even August, like with a sporting event, we'll watch wrestling or hockey or football. He has a certain attention span for it. But that, like, I don't need to pay attention to the dialogue for something like that. I can watch it visually and understand what's happening. Yeah. A show, I'm trying to follow these characters and the plot, and you're constantly yapping.
I hate when I'm watching a show and someone's talking. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
It's like, for me, that's a time, like, it's an escape. And I have sensory input issues. If there's too many sources, my brain's trying to grab all of them. And I'm like, stop it, brain, stop it. We're just trying to focus on this. So yeah, I'm like, I want it silent. I want to be lost in this book or lost in this story.
I need quiet for reading.
Yeah.
I guess why I go to my car to do it.
Otherwise, like, get the hell out of here. Okay, so now let's touch on that real quick. We got about 10 minutes or so left. I think that's an interesting thing, and I think it might be uniquely American, where we are adverse to sex, but consume and allow our kids to consume violence unabated.
It is weird.
It's fucking backward.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't so much mind nudity.
That's what I'm saying. Nudity.
It's just,
yeah, I guess that's probably a better way to put it.
But like, I'm not gonna if there's a fuck scene on a movie, I'm not gonna let my kids there and watch it.
Yeah, no,
I'm like, close your eyes and cover your ears.
Yeah, I get that at a
If
certain
it's just
age,
a straight tit.
Yeah, a little bit of nudity. It's like,
well, for example, I was watching this was a couple years ago, and I think I talked about this before.
Yeah, Night of Living, Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah, the chick's dancing.
Yeah, the graveyard
and
scene.
I'm like doing something, and I look over at her and just like.
What
that
a
chick
great
is fine in that movie,
Oh,
dude.
God,
Like,
yeah.
perfect
Linnea
body.
Quigley at that time
is
trash. If you guys haven't seen it,
go see it.
Go look up, the graveyard scene in Return of the Living Dead.
Do you ever fantasize about being ripped apart by old men? They're clawing at your body. The black guy's like, what? No.
You know what the best thing is, though? When she starts stripping, like, you know this is something she's done before because the black character, he goes, oh, she's doing it again, or she's taking off her clothes again. Like, oh, this is a frequent occurrence.
I knew a few whores on Owasso that were good for that. They were always taking their clothes off at parties.
Oh, the Owasso days.
It was just like, good Lord. It almost takes the fun out of it. I mean, dude, the second or
were
third
they good
time.
looking?
Yeah, the one was, but the second or third time seeing someone naked in that kind of setting, it's just like, all right, you're attention starved.
Sure. But I'll still enjoy the show regardless.
I'll go fuck you.
How much attention you need?
But just
About 5 minutes worth.
prancing around the backyard ass naked in the city is just a little ridiculous, but hey.
Owasso's pretty sparsely populated, right?
No. It's right outside Flint. It's like 20 minutes west of Flint. Give or take time, but close enough to that. Yeah, it's like Owasso, Duran, and then Flint.
Durag.
Duran. It's like NATO.
Okay.
Hey, remember that show, Wife Swap?
Yeah.
There was a family in Duran, Michigan, when I was living up in Owasso that was on that show. Wife Swap. Hey.
Nifty.
Straight up.
So, we'd mentioned last episode that we'd be releasing on the 20th anniversary of the epic matchup, Serpent versus Ice Pac 2, with commentary from Brandon and myself. Not so much calling the action, but just, talking about our recollections of the time and what was going through our heads during the match. So I forgot the damn...
He dropped the ball.
Yeah, I did. I forgot the thumb drive. Look, listen, I had...
So we'll get you on the 40th anniversary, all right?
Nah, I'll get it down here next time, so you're just going to have to wait a few more weeks. You know what went on this morning? I get up, trying to get things going, and then we had a slight change in our plans, so I get held up for a bit, and then I go to Lincoln's room because he's sitting there playing NHL, and I'm like, son, when that game ends, I need you to get dressed. Okay, Dad. 20 minutes
Sure
goes
thing,
by.
Pop.
He was going into the third period. I'm like, what are you doing? So I go walk back in there. August is in there. He comes out of Lincoln's room, and August does this great zombie impression. It's hilarious. He does the walk. He sticks out his tongue. He even makes a sound. He's like, oh. So I'm thinking he's just doing his zombie thing, and I think he was. Comes right up to me, puts his mouth against my leg like he's gonna bite me as a zombie. Barfs all over the fucking place. And I literally look down at him, and he doesn't miss a beat. Usually when a kid barfs, they cry a bit.
Right.
It was like a goddamn gag or something. He comes up to me, spews, and I go, what the fuck? Walks away calmly. And I'm like, did that just happen? Barfs on my pants, barfs on my foot.
He's like, I got this idea for a barfing zombie. What'd you think? Good, right?
Way to commit, son. And I'm just standing. It was one of those moments, like, I'm just standing there as like the head of the house, like constant, like, just shit put on your shoulders. You're trying to do good. You're trying to get out the door, do something enjoyable for yourself. And then it's just like, this kid ain't listening. This one's barfing on me. Like, come on. What's going on here?
Did you watch Three Body Problem on Netflix?
No, we talked about it last time I was here, but did you finish it?
Well, yeah, but it's only 8 episodes.
Okay.
And it leaves you want. Like, you need so much more. I'm like, this is the end of this?
What I've been getting into lately and haven't made time for is Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone adaptation from a few years back.
I know. I want to start watching that too.
First 4 episodes, well done. Really enjoyed those.
That guy, he's remaking People Under the Stairs.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be good.
I know the perfect guy for Roach.
Who's that?
I don't want to say his name. Don't want to give him the notoriety. Let's just say I used to refer to him as the demon drunk of Applewood.
Oh, okay. I can see that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I can see that.
Jason once said that to
Yeah,
Sarah
it looks
years
like
ago.
Roach.
Well, how did he put it? Said something like looks like Roach from People Under the Stairs. If he had died, come back as a zombie, and then got AIDS. Left this drunken message on her voicemail one day. Needless to say, she wasn't too happy.
I wouldn't imagine.
All right, so we have a few minutes left here. We're full into the, for all intents and purposes, into the fall season now. Football's going. Kids are back at school. Spooky season's here. Several haunted houses did open this past weekend. And if you're looking for a place to go, plenty of them open tomorrow, since this comes out on Thursday. It's a Friday the 13th. Lots of haunts taking advantage of that.
Oh,
promotion.
yeah. I'm
So
sure.
get on out to those haunts. Shirley and I are actually going to stop at I'll give them a plug. My buddy Mike's place, Deranged out in Romulus. Sir Shirley's going to take some pictures. I might do some video, but we always have fun out there.
I want to get the boys to a couple this year. They did pretty good at the one you hosted that one year.
Yeah, they did.
2 years ago.
I can't remember if they came through Circus Sinister or Purgatory.
Well, but Gibby acts so fucking tough all the time, and you put him with something like that, he's fucking freaking out bawling.
One of them was crying. Yeah,
It was probably
yeah,
Gibby.
Yeah. So a couple minutes left. Let's get down to it. Let's get down to business. We're going to be engaging in some NHL action.
That's right.
For you loyal listeners, you know we've been talking this up. I was over last weekend. My Sharks hoisted the cup in Game 7 on the Panthers' ice.
Damn near blew a 3-1 lead there.
But I didn't.
Yeah, damn near did. The LG didn't give it to you.
Shut you out 2-0.
LG gave you the game.
Shut you out 2-0 and won myself a 2-0 in round.
Shit. We'll see what happens.
So we've made our trades.
That's right.
I brought in top line left winger Philip Forsberg. Scored an overtime winner that netted me another point, if you recall. I
For
haven't
fuck's
forgotten.
sakes.
And retooled my fourth line, brought some crashers and bangers. What did you do, BMO?
I picked up Eller. I picked up Danny the Kaiser.
Lars Eller, okay, solid depth
He's quick.
forward.
He's quick and he's got a good
two-way,
shot.
good two-way guy.
Who else did I pick up?
But what
Danny
did you
the
what did
Kaiser.
you first do?
We made some rash decisions, all right. We went and picked up big Zdeno Chara, and thinking he was still in his prime, which he's not. We got him out to the practice session, and we pretty much told him to take his skates off and leave the arena. His contract was being revoked, and we were going back on that, and Boston wasn't too happy about that, but fuck him.
So as you guys know, we play these games and we do a whole lot of smack talk in between,
That's all we do.
Make up fake news articles, leave each other taunting messages on, through Messenger. And I apparently went a little too hard at Chara because when Brandon traded for him, I was like, that sand skater, my forward's going to use him as a pylon. And a few days later, Brandon messages like, hey, you don't mind if I rescind that trade and use my points elsewhere. I guess I should have kept my mouth shut.
And like I said, even if you threw a complaint about it, I was just going to take my lateral and eat the point and be done with it. And still have room,
Yeah.
Hey, had to be done.
I don't care. I'm confident in my team. I like the team I put together.
But I'm pretty happy with the speed of this team now. My fourth line is like Malgin, what's the other end guy? How is it those two guys?
McGinn.
Yeah, Malgin, McGinn, and who the fuck is in the left wing? I can't remember.
Some scrub.
But he's a scrub. He's probably next on the list to go.
Well, I say let's get to it. New series starting today. The Sharks. Mark it down here on the podcast.
But we have to figure this out because Gibby wants to play.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
So we're going to do like a preliminary and then...
I say mark it down right here, right now. This ain't a prediction.
Oh, my God.
It's a spoiler. The San Jose Sharks are going back to back.
Sure they are.
And remember, be you vagrant or be you vandal, all rascals and rogues, welcome here.